They're going to put you all back in chains.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I come to you with one question. Is Joe Biden putting kids in cages? Is that what he's doing? I'm reading headlines and stuff, and it kind of seems like that. And it's kind of confusing because for the past 4 years under the Trump administration, I was hearing that Trump was racist and xenophobic and hateful for quote unquote putting kids in cages, right? You know, you got these kids coming across the border in Texas and Arizona, California, etc. And the big bad Trump, the big bad racist Trump is putting kids in these cages, ripping them from their mothers, all this, that, and the third. That's what I've been hearing from 2017 and up until 2021, especially at the very beginning. But I remember at the very beginning when they were saying that about Trump pretty much every day on the mainstream media. I remember those times and I was like, wow, I have a pretty decent memory. I'm not the Raymond or nothing like that, but I have a decent memory. I'm no elephant in here, but come on. If it's 2017, I thought back to, I don't know, 2016, just a few months prior under the Obama-Biden administration, where they were the ones that had the kids in the so-called cages. They were the ones that built the cages. All right. It was funny because at the very beginning of Trump's time, they were talking about how he's putting kids in cages, and they had pictures of the so-called cages, and there was some young adults in it. They could have been 12 or 18, but I digress. They had on those tinfoil looking blankets there on the ground, and it's saying, see, this is what Trump has done. This is disgusting. He is a racist. Meanwhile, the actual pictures they were using were from 2014. Now, again, I'm no rocket scientist. I'm no mathematician, but I know that if you get elected in 2016, you get inaugurated in January 2017. So if the picture is from 2014, you couldn't have been the president when that picture was taken. Who was the president? Barack Obama. With the vice president, Joe Biden. So it was Joe Biden and the president, Barack Obama at the time, that built the cages, that put the kids in the cages for the very same purpose that Trump had some of the quote unquote kids in the cages. All right. You got kids coming across the border illegally by themselves with a coyote. You got adults coming, whatever the reason may be. They're temporarily housed in these little cages, little just, holding facilities, really. They're housed there for a minute until the next step is decided. Whether it's a whole catch and release thing where they catch them right there and then send them into the interior of the nation, which is a whole different ball of wax, or they get deported or they go to a different facility. All right. And these facilities are beautiful. Shout out to Candace Owens for going there probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, you got ping pong and you getting your haircuts. They got PlayStation, Xbox. I know kids that are born and raised in America that don't live quite as well as they were in the so-called terrible holding facilities and terrible prisons for people that didn't do anything wrong, except for breaking into the country illegally. But for now, I digress. What Joe Biden is doing appears to be the exact same thing that they say Trump did, but the media is not covering it. Now, I want to read this article right quick. This is just going to talk about, this is a real short article. This is from New York Post, and I have multiple sources. I'll link to those in the box. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. They won't talk about it on the mainstream media, but they will write about it a lot in some of the, reputable sources all over the place. So let's check it out right here. You see the headline, Biden administration to open Overflow Facility is what they're calling it. Overflow Facility for 700 migrant children. So not only are they currently using the so-called facilities, we'll talk about that in a minute, they're building more of them. They're building them. I remember, people were saying, oh, Trump's a racist because he's putting kids in the cages. And then those of us on the right that understand history, we said, hey, Obama built those cages. Well, Trump's using them. So Biden is using them and building more. But we'll get through this and see exactly what's going on here. And that's a facility right there in Carrizo Spring, Texas. Yeah, I'm seeing like a little cage. I'm seeing some, cagey type stuff going on here. But we'll get to the article. The Biden administration will open the Overflow Facility, able to accommodate up to 700 migrant children within the next 2 weeks, the Department of Health and Human Services said Tuesday. In a statement released by the Office of Refugee Resettlement, that's catch and release for the most part, except for deportations. They tried to pause deportations, but they didn't do it because they got blocked by a judge. So they're going to deport you, but different story. The department announced plans to reopen a quote unquote temporary influx care facility in Carrizo Springs, Texas within the next 2 weeks. Quote, initially, the Carrizo Springs ICF will accommodate approximately 700 children in hard-sided structures. Now, what is a hard-sided structure? I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, they're using these, terms they probably would use in this type of world. I'm thinking hard-sided, what could that be? It could be brick and mortar. It can be wood. It can be glass. It can be steel. It can be some kind of flexible metal that has a pretty decent height so you can't climb across it. Maybe that might not be a hard structure or a hard-sided structure, but you kind of get the drift. Additional semi-permanent soft-sided capacity may be added if necessary, though ORR will always prioritize placing children in hard-sided structures over semi-permanent structures, the statement read. So, soft-sided, are we talking about fencing? Are we talking about tents? Trump's team got hammered by the media for using tents. My man from Arizona, from Maricopa County, I forget his name. You guys know what I'm talking about, the sheriff out there. He was just beat over the head for using tents to house some of the prison inmates. So you got the sheriff from Maricopa. He's attacked for using tents. Trump gets attacked for using tents. So do you think Biden will be attacked for using tents? I don't know, but I'll move on. The facility will be used for children above the age of 13 who have completed quarantine for the virus. There are currently over 4,700 children. Let's start from the top on that one. There are currently over 4,700 children in the care of that division, which also currently funds over 13,000 licensed beds for migrants. So where are all these kids at? Where are they at? I mean, when they say they're in the care, are these kids like technically under their jurisdiction that are in the interior of the country, or are they actually at these facilities? So what's really going on? You're going to build a spot for 700 more kids. You probably have that many, the 4,700 already, in your care. And you may have 13,000 beds that are kind of in rotation. So the 4,700, that might be what they got right now. But the 13,000 could be their capacity as we sit here today reading this article. Very interesting how that works. A temporary facility will be used in a situation due to COVID restrictions, which kept too many of the migrant children from being kept in one place to allow social distancing. HHS is mindful of these children's vulnerability, and our priority is safety and well-being of each child in our care. HHS anticipates the need to start placing children at Carrizo Springs in 15 days or soon after. All right. Now, here's the question I have. And there's, you got Border Patrol, all that good stuff. Now, here's a question I have as I just get back to, the video here. Are we going to see much from the media on this? Is it really going to be a thing that we talk about a lot or no? Okay. And also, was this whole thing started because of the caravan we got coming up at the southern border? You guys heard about that, right? It's a caravan coming up. Remember, probably about a year or so ago, there was a caravan coming, I think, from Central America. And we were trying to break it apart and not have it come here. Or we were trying to have them, down in Guatemala and whatnot, build up their border security. They had a border line of actual, military and police down there, but they just broke right through that because they want to come here to America. So, I mean, are we building that because of the incoming caravan or what? And the caravan is coming because Joe Biden said, hey, we might give amnesty to quote unquote 11 million illegal aliens. Really, it's about 30 million, but that's a different story. So we're going to give them amnesty. We're not going to try to deport. So when people in Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Mexico, and all over the world, don't get it twisted. It's not just those from Central America coming over here. It's also those from China, Russia, Africa, Europe. They said in 1 year, they caught 400,000 people at the border. Just at the border. Not even talking about those that come across the planes and expired their visas. I'm talking about 400,000 at the border from 150 different countries. So from all over the world, people were caught at the southern border. Why? It's easy to get through. It's Mexico. What you gonna do? You could just pretty much go there, and and they're not really screening everybody that comes across illegally. Obviously, ain't no screening there to see if you got the virus or TB or any kind of infectious disease like that. You can have whatever you want to have it come on over. That's why you got to have the wall. Why you got to have protections. That's why you can't have people like Joe Biden talking about, oh, basically come one, come all. But as I close, I want to say this. It's interesting how this story is pretty much being ignored. I talk about it a little bit, but nothing really. They want to talk about, oh, Biden's putting kids in cages, although it was under him, his administration, alongside his president, Barack Obama, that built the cages, that used the cages. He's probably getting the same people to build these so-called cages that built the very first ones that were under the Obama administration. It's the same people doing the same exact thing, but it's fine for them to do it because they're on the left and it's all good. If anybody on the right does anything, then it's the worst thing in the world. This is why I say, they're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and stuff like that. It's false outrage. They're just trying to attack us for any reason they can drum up in their mind. They would not attack themselves in the same way. It's not even about one person. It ain't about Trump or anything. It's about everything they do. They can do whatever they want, and it's fine. If we do the exact same thing that they do, then we are the bad guys. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How you feel about Joe Biden allegedly, quote unquote, building the same cages that they built before under the 8 years of his prior term when he was the vice president? The same cages that Trump got completely just hammered every day for a good year or two, although he was just doing the exact same thing that his predecessor did. That's part of the legacy, right? My legacy. That's the whole thing that Obama keeps worrying about, keeps crying and screeching about. Oh, my legacy, keep my legacy up. All right, well, part of your legacy, sir, are the southern border cages. So I'm going to keep them rocking. Trump did it. Now, Joe Biden is doing it. Everybody's going to do it. So this whole thing about, oh, we care about the illegal, man, please. They'll say anything that will help them get to a particular place politically, and the media will back them up. We know by now that the media are totally fake. Totally fake. Period. The left media, totally fake. They'll do whatever it takes to support their guy. They'll lie. They'll misrepresent. They'll do whatever it takes. That's why people are starting to abandon, well, not starting to abandon, why they are abandoning mainstream media more and more every day. Even those that are on the left that agree with leftist ideas don't like the straight line and games that are being played by the left. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.